They didn't just survive the chaos, they rewrote their entire future. It has been a while since Maxton Hall season 2 left us emotionally wrecked. But let's be honest, none of us actually moved on. Ruby expelled, James broken, Mortimer winning again, and that finale? Absolutely criminal. And just when we thought the trauma was permanent, season 3 decides to casually drop the biggest bomb of all. Ruby and James are not just fighting back, they are becoming a family. Yes, you heard that right. And if you think this season will finally be peaceful, think again, because happiness at Maxton Hall always comes at a price. Let's start exactly where everything went wrong. Ruby being expelled was not just unfair, it was calculated. Mortimer didn't just want her out of school, he wanted her erased. And while everyone else stayed silent, pretending there was nothing they could do, one person is finally ready to speak: James. Because at this point, James has lost everything that mattered to him: his home, his illusion of family, and the version of himself that still feared his father. And season 3 makes it very clear: James is done being quiet. The truth about the photo will come out, and no matter how powerful Mortimer thinks he is, even he cannot silence his own son forever. But here's the real question: what happens when James exposes the lie that protected Lydia and destroyed Ruby? Of course, Mortimer will not just sit back and accept defeat. He never does. Once he realizes James is choosing Ruby over him, the gloves come off. The control, the manipulation, the threats, everything escalates. And this is where things get truly ugly. Mortimer doesn't just lose his grip on James, he starts losing his grip on everything: the house, the twins, the perfect image he built so carefully. And when Lydia's pregnancy inevitably comes to light, thanks to his obsession with controlling every phone and every secret, Mortimer's reaction won't be shock. It will be rage. Because in his mind, Lydia's baby isn't a blessing, it's another failure he refuses to accept. Season 3 pushes the twins into a corner they can no longer escape from. Stay silent and obey, or walk away with nothing. And this time, they walk. James and Lydia leaving that house isn't just a dramatic moment, it's a declaration of war. Mortimer thinks money is power, but he forgets something very important. The Beaufort Company was never truly his. And while he's busy trying to destroy Ruby and control his children, something much bigger is happening behind his back. Something that could take everything away from him. Because Cordelia's will still doesn't add up, and season 3 doesn't even try to hide it anymore. The mystery surrounding her death, the missing documents, and that key Percy kissed at her grave are no longer just symbolism. They are clues, dangerous ones. And suddenly, Percy isn't just the quiet outsider anymore. He's the man who knows too much. Why was he so emotional at Cordelia's grave? Why does he have something that might unlock the truth Mortimer buried? And more importantly, why does his presence make Mortimer so nervous? While all of this is unfolding, Ruby and James are trying to rebuild what was taken from them. And for the first time, we don't see them chasing a dream. We see them protecting one. Ruby isn't just fighting to return to school anymore. She's fighting for her future, her dignity, and the life she wants with James. And James? He's no longer the reckless boy trying to impress his father. He's choosing love, even if it costs him everything else. And that choice will change both of them forever. But here's where season 3 truly shocks us. Because this isn't just a love story anymore. This is a turning point. The kind that creates something permanent. Something that ties Ruby and James together in a way no one, not even Mortimer, can undo. And as secrets begin to surface and alliances quietly form, one question hangs over everything like a ticking time bomb. Is the biggest surprise of season 3 still waiting to be revealed? And will it change Ruby and James' lives forever? Everything changes the moment the truth stops hiding in the shadows. Because once Mortimer realizes that the twins are not bluffing, that they are truly ready to take him down, his desperation turns dangerous. This is no longer about control. It is about survival. The Beaufort Company becomes a battlefield, and for the first time, Mortimer is not the strongest player in the room. Pieces start moving quietly. Orlia steps in, calm but determined, and suddenly the past refuses to stay buried. Documents resurface. Old signatures don't match. Dates don't add up. And that key Percy has been holding on to, it finally finds its lock. And when it does, everything Mortimer built begins to crack. The real will of Cordelia changes the rules entirely. Shares that never belonged to Mortimer return to their rightful owners. The twins gain power they were never supposed to have. And Mortimer, he starts losing control in public, something he has never allowed before. The man who once ruled through fear now watches as his empire collapses piece by piece. And as whispers of forged documents and hidden crimes grow louder, the unthinkable becomes possible. Prison is no longer just a threat. It is a very real destination waiting for him. But here's the twist. Cordelia's death is suddenly back in question. And the more answers they find, the clearer it becomes that this story was never as simple as everyone believed. And then there's Percy, the man who never fit into Mortimer's perfect family picture. Season 3 finally pulls the curtain back on his role, and the implications are shocking. The connection between Percy and Cordelia was not just emotional, it was intimate. And once that truth comes out, another question follows immediately. Could Percy really be the twins' biological father? Because let's be honest, the kindness in James, the compassion in Lydia, none of it feels inherited from Mortimer. And if this secret is confirmed, it wouldn't just destroy Mortimer's legacy, it would erase it completely. While adults are fighting wars and uncovering decades-old secrets, the younger generation is trying to build something softer, something real. Lydia's future is still complicated because even with Graham cleared of false accusations, their love remains controversial. The law doesn't suddenly change, and neither does public opinion. Lydia may not be able to say his name out loud yet, but time is on her side. Once she turns 18, nothing can stop her from choosing Graham openly. And when that day comes, it won't just be a wedding. It will be a quiet rebellion against everything Mortimer stood for. And then there's Ruby and James, no longer hiding, no longer apologizing for loving each other. Season 3 treats their relationship differently, more mature, more grounded, and far more meaningful. Ruby's return to education, her path toward Oxford, her future filled with achievements, all of it feels earned. James steps away from the company world, choosing art, travel, and a life defined by freedom rather than power. But the biggest shift isn't in their careers, it's in their priorities. Because rumors don't appear without reason. And the idea of Ruby and James becoming a family isn't just a fantasy anymore, it's a promise. A future that includes more than just survival, more than just romance. It includes responsibility, protection, and love that doesn't run when things get hard. And in a world that tried so hard to break them, that might be the most powerful ending of all. The final moments of season 3 are imagined as something Maxton Hall has never given us before. Peace, a shared table, laughter instead of secrets, children growing up without fear. And for the first time, the legacy of this story isn't built on power or control, but on choice. But before we get that ending, one last truth still needs to surface. Will Mortimer's final secret destroy what's left of his family? Or will it be the one thing that finally sets them free?